Tickets on sale now.
Lens Rentals versus Lenny's Rentals. Difference number 7.
At Lens Rentals, our goal is simple: share the best available equipment and educate and provide support to our customers to ensure they can achieve their goals, regardless of experience level.
Sharp, dedicated, focused. Just one more reason to use Lens Rentals. LensRentals.com. Shoot with the best.
Hello, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 11 of the Midwest Gaming Classic Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Garris, Panel Director of the Midwest Gaming Classic. Your voice is more than a sound you make, and no one can share that message better than actors Carolina Ravassa, Sombra in Overwatch, and Christopher Sean, Ultraman/Ken Sato in Netflix's Ultraman Rising. Join them as they talk about how they got their roles, as well as how to juggle personal health and well-being. And you know what? Enough of me talking. What do we get? To the podcast.
How often do you actually get an audition script, a day or two ahead of time, or how often is it you walk in and you've got, 5 minutes to look at it and figure it out?
I think before we used to go in person and we'd get there and then we'd see the script and look at it for 5 or 10 minutes and then go in. Now I get auditions and they're usually just due the next day. But I might have a full day of work and can't get to them till 8 p.m. or the next morning at 7 a.m. So then I look through it, and usually it's less than 24 hours, and then we have to record it and send it in. I feel like that's how fast they go.
You know what? Let's start real quick before we
Yeah.
jump right into it. This is Carolina Ravassa, everyone. Please give her a round of applause. You've seen her in Overwatch. You've seen her in Valerie. You've seen her on Hamster and Gretel. You've seen her on
Froyo Bobo.
Go.
Robo Gobo. It's a new show on Disney. Check it out. It's for kids.
And many other projects like Red Dead Redemption 2 and so many other amazing things.
This is Christopher Sean. Give it up, everybody. Woo! He's the bad guy in Hawaii 5-0. He's also on Days of Our Lives, and he is the voice of Ultraman Rising. Woo! And so many other things as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So when we're talking about finding your voice on today's panel, so thank you all for coming, thank you all for staying. If you guys need to leave, feel free, don't worry, we're not going to keep you. I was only joking.
We'll run after you.
But we really do appreciate you being here. Your time is valuable, so thank you. But going back to what you were asking earlier, Jason, you're saying how soon do we get auditions? Sometimes you get them same day auditions. Like people like me, I have to audition. Carolina, she just gets offers. They just offer the job. She's that good.
That's not true.
But for me, some days, again, same day, other times you get them in a week in advance. Now, they're starting to get more strict with the union, the SAG-AFTRA union, where they have to give you a specific amount of time if they're asking for a specific amount of characters. 5 or more characters gives you 3 days. 3 characters, maybe 2 days, and then 1 character.
It's because you're a little slow, and so they actually give you more time, but that's not how it goes.
I got a +3 handicap, so life is good. Life is good.
No, but sometimes they'll let's say our agent can send 10 people in for an audition. but then like one person had to drop out for whatever reason. So they'll be like, Carolina, can you get this in last minute? It's due today at 2 p.m. So like sometimes you're like, well, okay, I gotta try. And Bashful comes out and does this thing. But you have to do it in the next, 15, 20, 30 minutes because it's last minute and it's like, I don't have to, but I want to try it because I could possibly book it. So yeah, sometimes it's just crazy like that.
And the cool thing is, a lot of the times at a same-day auditions, it's very difficult for somebody to find a voice, to find a character, to give it emotional values and structure and so forth. That those are the ones I book the most because they see that I'm able to quickly do something and make a fool of myself and enjoy doing it. They're like, this guy seems okay. He seems okay.
And you have to sound like you're, as people, I'm literally stopping right now and thinking and then telling you guys something. And the other day I recorded some auditions, but I didn't send them. I waited because I wanted to listen to them the next day before I sent them in. And as I listened back, I could hear myself. It sounded like I was reading a script. So I re-recorded them because you want to sound like you're in the moment and you're thinking and then, oh, this thing happens, instead of, I am reading a script and this sounds really boring. So you want to be living in the moment as that character because that's going to sound so much more real. So that's super important.
I guess we're talking a lot about the industry, right? So that's kind of the focus. The number one thing about acting is sounding realistic in an imaginary state. So we want to make sure that there's humanity to it, that people can connect to it, and that we're not just robotically reading lines. Anyone can do that, and if they're going to do that, then do book readings for a living, because those you can make a lot of money doing that too.
You don't want to sound robotic doing those either.
No,
you want
right,
to be present in the moment.
Yeah, that's true. So,
This is a life lesson. We have to be present in the moment.
Yes.
Listening. Hey, yeah, it's all because if I just go into automatic pilot. Every time I meet someone that comes to my table to say, I love Sombra, oh, thank you so much, great. Instead of, oh, you love Sombra, why do you love Sombra versus you? Like, we have to be listening attentively.
Yeah, I mean, living presently is extremely important in acting because if you have like an idea of how you're going to say a line, and you're like, I'm going to say it like, you're amazing. And then somebody punches me in the face, I can't just be like, you're amazing. I have to react to what happened in that present moment, right? So that's very important.
So how would it sound?
Right, see? So the idea is to live presently, react accordingly to everything that's happening. Because the number one rule of acting is reacting.
Also, is this interesting, fun? We can talk about anything you guys want.
Summer school.
Okay, cool.
How did Sombra come to be?
All right. I got an audition. Blizzard created one of the many characters that they have in the video game, and they said she was Mexican and had to have an accent in English, speak Mexican Spanish. I sent in an audition, like 8 lines maybe. They said she was kind of like Jessica Jones. And so I had that reference. I watched a little bit of Jessica Jones. She's all like, I'm too cool for school, I'm jaded, blah, blah, blah. And Sombra's a little bit over it. And she's super smart and she's super good at what she does and arrogant, but has a dark sense of humor. So you kind of just channel that into your read. And I was just lucky that it worked out. But there's many characters that I've auditioned for that I have not gotten. Like Ultraman.
She did book it, but she was busy, so nice guy.
So a question that I thought of was, since you've had leads in a couple of different movies and Star Wars series and other things, do you find yourself kind of on an audition shortlist where people are calling you a little bit more? Is it a little bit easier that way, or is it that the industry actually forgets what you did last week and you're starting from square one again?
That's a really good question. I don't know if I found that to be the case. So I've done the lead of Star Wars Resistance. I've been the lead of Gotham Knights, co-lead, excuse me. I played Nightwing, and I was in Suicide Squad, Star Wars Visions, Fallout 76, Marvel Avengers, many of the projects. But the more that you do, the more that the industry knows that you can handle that. So they're more willing to give you a job. But I think what's more important, because everyone's got talent. Right? There's a whole talent pool of people. But I think what's really, really important in Hollywood is the value of your reputation. if you're known as someone who's a prima donna, you're not going to work much. The longevity of your career will be short-lived. So definitely show up on set. The voiceover community. Show up on time. Show up on time. That's a big one. You're late. I was literally on set on a different project, and we're all pretending to be the undead zombies, right? And one person, he was very uncomfortable doing this zombie impersonation. He was doing all the other stuff just fine, doing amazing. But while he was doing the zombie, he started having fun, and while we were recording. And there's nothing wrong with that. Have a good day. But the production team didn't like that. So much so that they didn't bring him back. And he just lost out on $10,000. So I was like, dude, you really gotta focus. You can't make fun of somebody's profession. You gotta really commit, do it with a smile, separate yourself from your ego.
Make fun of zombies.
Yeah, but if you're uncomfortable, that's okay. But that's what you're getting paid for.
Yeah.
But don't make it weird. Anyway, going back to your question, sorry, I just wanted to talk about that. I don't know whether or not I'm on a short list or not.
Yeah, we never know those things, really.
Yeah, but I do know that I am talked about in areas where they say, hey, we're looking for a particular actor. Sometimes it's like, we're looking for a Carolina Ravassa. She is spunky, cool, tough, that's the kind of role we're looking for. And then people will look up Carolina's line of work and say, oh, I get an idea of what I'm supposed to do. And then do the impersonation. They can't do it, so they make their own character, right?
Yeah. But also sometimes I think sometimes we might get requested because they know they know I speak Spanish, so obviously, and if I've done other commercials in Spanish, they're like, oh, we've liked what she's done before, so we'd like her to audition. It's not that they just give you the job, but they want to hear an audition. But I've also, when I went to record Valorant, they didn't know that I had done Sombra and Overwatch, and I thought that was super cool because it wasn't like, oh, we booked her because she was on Overwatch, and that's so cool. Like, they had no idea. So that also makes you feel good because they cast you because of your talent, not because you had this other credit that they knew about. So anything can happen, I guess.
I got a question for everyone here. Does anyone want to be in the voice acting world or entertainment industry? Okay, 75 of you. Okay, so everyone who's interested, if you guys have questions that pop in your mind, this is very interactive, right? We came here really not knowing what's going on, so we're thankful that you're here. But we also want to make this extremely beneficial for you. Outside of voice acting, if you have questions for us as well, feel free to ask us, Okay.
Perfect.
Actually, Carolina doesn't want to do that. No, I'm just kidding.
Just a quick question. How do you feel about these, regarding voice acting, these, where you have to pay and they'll help you out and all this? You think it's a scam, or is it the real deal, or,
I don't quite understand entirely. Here's my thought. If you're paying, you pay for college, right? You're going to go learn, get educated. If this person has credits, and if they legitimately understand what they're doing, then great. Learn from them. You can go to bloomvox.com. That's Steve Bloom, who plays the voice of Spike Spiegel, right? But there are also free materials online. iwannabeavoiceactor.com. D. Bradley Baker, the #1 voice actor in Hollywood with the most credits out of anyone. He has free materials that will teach you every aspect of becoming a voice actor. So there's free and there's paid for. But whoever your teacher is that's charging you, if you look up his IMDb, Internet Movie Database, imdb.com, and he has legitimate credits, then absolutely learn from them.
I think some pay-to-play sites, there is so much oversaturation in the market that some people are like, I would love to be able to teach this for free, or have you meet a casting director or an agent for free, but they just physically don't have the time. So it's like, pay for a class with me because this is after hours of my already super busy, 9 to 5 or 7 to midnight, whatever they're working. So sometimes it is like like if I'm going to teach a voice acting class, I'd like to get paid because it's not during my work hours and I'm already adding to my weekly schedule. But some I'm sure are scams. So just maybe do your research and try to know where they're coming from. But definitely, like I used to pay for actorsaccess.com. The yearly thing is $60 or whatever. I know Voices 123 charges something like maybe $300. But if you start booking, it'll pay for itself, and then it's like having a membership to a gym. You do it so that you can get healthy. So I think that you just have to make sure to find the right ones, because I'm sure others are scams. So just be careful. It's a tricky question to answer.
If you feel like it's a scam, like dude's walking up to you and he's like, "Hey, eat this apple." Who are you? If something's telling you that, then don't do it.
Or if they're telling you now you got to pay this much more next month to take my advanced class, then you're like, am I really learning, or are you just taking my money? Whatever feels good too is important.
All right. I'm guessing there are probably a few podcasters in the audience, or if you want to do them. One thing, even your podcast, I have one that is mostly non-scripted. Mostly it's interviews and casual discussion with co-hosts of mine. But I do have, in between, to break it up, I have these segments about specific songs in my case. I do the voiceover for those as well, and I'm always a little worried about getting too excited in those to the point where when they get that, like, is that the same person? Or should I try to reflect my voice so it's different? I mean, any advice there? I think more details if you like.
So you're saying the question or statement, the question you're saying is,
what's the approach for that type of media where the media you have to coexist with?
I'll tell you this. It's your podcast.
I know.
You do whatever the heck you want to do in your podcast, and listeners will come. I was working on Star Wars. Dave Filoni came in, and he said, he's talking to the entire cast, and Dave Filoni says to me, he pulls me aside, in front of everyone, and he says to me, we were looking for our next Luke Skywalker, our next Ahsoka Tano, our next Ezra Bridger. Kazuda Ziano is the lead of Star Wars Resistance. That's in this situation here. That's you. Don't worry about what anyone says. Do what makes you happy. You will find your tribe. Your followers will come from your passion. Do you, bro. That's it. Sorry.
How many actual acting classes have you taken, and how did that lead to starting to actually get roles booked?
A gazillion, million, billion. I did theater since I was 5 years old, and then I went to college for theater, so I don't know how many classes I did there over 4 years, and then I went to a conservatory program, and then I still take class. I did Improv 101 at UCB recently, and I take voice acting classes, and I do coaching, so it never stops, really. But there's not like, you have to take 6 voice acting classes before you audition. I think once you start feeling comfortable doing auditions, that's great. But I would recommend a class every once in a while to get out of your head and your comfort zone and have somebody help stretch your imagination, and your skill.
Yeah, I think also some people are completely against acting classes. I typically advise just to follow your heart. Like, there are some people that just go out and do an amazing job, and while you're working on set, it's going to give you the best educational value, because you're going to learn basically what they're looking for, what they're not looking for. You're going to learn from your mistakes, but it's on their dime. So they're not really looking to work with amateurs. They're looking to work with people that know what they're doing, right? But also at the same time, it's really important to be acting as a muscle. It's extremely important to work that muscle. So you got to be I have many voiceovers almost daily, auditions almost daily. And not only that, I make a fool of myself pretending to be stupid characters or funny characters, whatever characters throughout the day all the time. So I'm constantly working this acting muscle, my funny bone, if you will, right? So not only do it with your friends, but do it with your family, do it to yourself in the mirror if you're gonna not take acting classes. But I think it's important to take acting classes just so that you can always be ready. You don't just, maybe at your age you can just go work out and do crazy things, but at my age, if I do something like that, I'm gonna sprain something. I'm gonna be too old to get out of bed.
He's 80.
Yeah, 82 actually.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
So I have like my own like setup at my own house, right? I was just wondering, so where would you go to like audition? So like you've got the setup, you've got the voices, and you've got an idea of what you want to start to do. Now where do you go from that? Is there like a website, or is there like a specific like thing you gotta do? Is there like a school or something like that?
I typically go to the internet, and then there I just look at things. No, I'm just kidding.
But yes, it's called Google. No, I start locally. Like, look at, maybe if you live in Milwaukee, look at what's happening here, because then you might go to a local studio, and then they can, But I think, like you said, there are websites like Bloombox. That's great. If you go to iwanttobeavoiceactor.com, Dee Bradley has answered every single question you might have about voice acting. I've gone to the website and scoured it, and it's so complete. And there, he recommends where you can go to get auditions, where you can go to find local auditions. I start locally, because if you're auditioning for stuff in LA, you might have to fly. Like, start here, or start in whatever town you live in, and then you can expand from there. But I think that's a great place to start.
Get headshots.
But it's just voice acting, though.
Yeah, but people still like to see who they're working with, right? Get a headshot, put together a voiceover reel. Right? You can find those on YouTube. I looked at Matthew Mercer. I was like, this guy, I like his acting. I like him. So what's his voiceover reel? It's on YouTube. And I was like, oh, I have an idea after looking at multiple voiceover reels on YouTube, somewhere on the internet. That's where I saw all these voiceover reels, and I was like, yeah, okay, so like 10 seconds a person, about 6 people is about a minute long voiceover reel. Real simple.
But on the website, Dee Bradley actually goes through step by step how to get a demo done. So like that's where he'll tell you, like, depending on where you're at, you start following certain like order of things to get that done. So
yeah. So just go down that list, but also then you want to start. There's a thing called again IMDb, InternetMovieDatabase.com. There you'll find voiceover agents. If they're on IMDb, that's like the internet. That's the Hollywood standard of like a resume. You've legitimately done work, right? You want to find an agent. Start getting yourself out there, market yourself properly. If you're the product, if you're the perfect product, but no one knows who you are, then how will they ever buy that product? You need to get representation to start marketing you accordingly.
I'm gonna do a follow-up question for that, and it's kind of a chicken or the egg type question. Is, do you want to have a couple of paid jobs under your belt and then get an agent, or do you want to get an agent to get those first couple of jobs?
You want to work? Just work. Just get out there, start doing it, But I think also, like, for me, I was taking anything I could get. I was doing student films when I first started. I would go on like Mandy.com is a website where grips and gaffs and production people would go, and I'd go to that set and be like, hey, hello, how are you guys doing? I'd trying to find work any which way I could. 21 years ago, I was trying to be an actor. Wait, I'm 82, so.
Oh, sorry, 45, yeah.
Yes.
I think you just have to do everything at the same time. Go on those sites where you get auditions, start hitting up agents, audition for things. You're probably not going to do jobs that pay at the beginning, because they're like looking for free voiceover. Do it for the experience. Why not? If it's not like 20 hours of work, like if it's like a small voiceover, you do things like that, and then maybe with that gig you meet somebody that gets to the agent. Like you don't know what's going to come first. So because I didn't have a demo when I got my agent, and then I got the demo. But usually you think you need the demo first. So I think sometimes you just don't know how things are going to happen. So you kind of don't say, well, I don't have an agent, so I can't get auditions. I guess I'll just sit here and do nothing. No, try and do projects with friends. Try and record your demo. Like there is stuff that you can proactively do without having an agent first, or vice versa. You just got to be really inventive.
Yeah, and I've lived by this saying most of my life. Carolina, you said this yesterday. Work begets work. If you're working, people take notice of that and they want to start working with that. So if you build it, they will come. Same concept. Just start working. Get out there. Get people to see you. Almost all of the big properties that I've worked on have come from network. Me doing the work and then people finding it, and then, or me working with people and then being like, I know somebody who would love to talk to you. And that's how my career has gone.
And the internet's a great tool. Like, you can find so much, like work, local things. Like it's before, how did we do this? You go to find the magazine. No, like now you can find so much happening wherever you live. I think that's just start Googling stuff, you know?
So, what made you want to do acting?
I had a lot of energy and my mom didn't know what to do with me, so she just threw me into the theater program, and it was great after school release of a lot of hyperactivity. I was 4.5, so she needed an outlet, and it worked. So that's really what happened, but then I loved it so much that I kept auditioning for all the school plays. It's fun to embody different characters. It's fun to try and understand, oh, why is that character doing that? Or why would this person get mad in this situation? I feel like it also helps us understand other people and be compassionate, because we're like, oh, I wouldn't react to this in this way, but they do, so what would it feel like if I was in their shoes?
Yeah, hey, great question, Carolina. Really good question. For me, when I would watch my dad. He was in the Navy, he'd record himself reading his books. And so I would get the tape from my dad and we'd punch it in and I'd see my dad on TV. And I was like, wow, I'm watching my dad, like bonsai. I'm watching, my dad on TV. And I thought that was really cool. And then my mom would then record us. And I'd be silly knowing that it was my dad. But I always thought, wow, like I'm gonna be on his TV and he's on my TV. I wanna be just like my dad. That's why I started to get into acting, because I wanted to be like my pops. But the more that I become an actor, the more I realize that there's a lot of responsibility. Because a lot of people, when they're huge fans, like Carolina has fans all over the world. She does 70 conventions, so many big things. But people follow her and they listen to what she has to say. So she's given a soapbox. When you're given people's attention, it's your responsibility to guide them properly. So for me, now that I've gotten older, I realize, man, I really want to help people. And I think being an actor can do that. It helps influence people and teach people how to treat others well, how to deal with their emotions in situations they don't feel good in, or vice versa if they feel great, how to handle those that excitement, that energy in a healthy way. So I think acting can really teach and guide, and it's the universal language of passing on culture and understanding.
Okay, I have to ask a follow-up on that one then. Ultraman, I'm trying not to spoil it here, but there is kind of a theme between the relationship of father and son there. That did your relationship with your dad kind of inform that character? Did you draw on that a little bit?
Yeah, when I voiced Ultraman, I drew from my personal experience a lot, and I would close my eyes and think of my pops, No, but I was thinking the same as you were talking. I was wondering if Ultraman really connected to you because of your father's situation.
Ultraman was an amazing movie. It's on Netflix, Ultraman Rising. Please check it out if you haven't seen it yet. We got nominated for 4 Annie Awards. The Annies are like the Oscars for animation. It's amazing. Thank you. No, not kidding. No, a lot of Ultraman, his story, I could relate to in my life. They're like the same puzzle pieces, just put into different, in a different order. My dad, being in the Navy, being deployed, so Ultraman's father was not there. My dad being not there, working 3 jobs, not there most of the day, it's like extremely relatable. Becoming a stepfather, having my little monsters, like the same thing. He's becoming a dad, raising a baby kaiju, right? Like, what is this? Being a professional athlete and becoming a superhero. I didn't know what to do when I became a superhero. It was crazy. Same thing. No, it's again, like, there's a lot of responsibilities and lots of parallels that I had with the character that I was like, holy cow, I'm just gonna be legitimately myself in this role. So it was the easiest and best project I've ever worked on because I was just being me. Silly superhero me.
My question comes from a little bit of experience because I do have a couple of roles where my voice gets severely strained. reports are to get out maybe as well as this. But I can only do that for so long at a time before my voice starts to get out. How would you recommend staying in voice shape, and are there any exercises or routines to keep your voice straight as hard as it does?
Can you ask that question and then voice the whole thing?
No.
I'm just kidding. You were saying this yesterday.
I think sometimes for certain auditions we have to decide if a voice is sustainable. I don't audition for World of Warcraft anymore because I have no voice. Some people can maintain that, and that's awesome. And so I learned I can't. So I don't try for those unless they're like, is only going to record half an hour, 1 hour, then you know, but usually they're 4 hours. And doing that for 4 hours, for me, is not sustainable. I don't know the healthy way to do that. I'm sure someone like Dee Bradley or all these guys who do really crazy creature voices could probably help you out with that. I use a vocal straw. It's a thing, it's a little straw you blow through and you make sound as you're blowing. And it actually helps open up the vocal cords, and it helps when you're a little bit raspy. But I don't know that would like help you after you've done that down there. So sometimes it's just understanding what you can sustain for a while. But that's a really, really hard question to answer. I would put it out to one of those creature experts because they do that all the time, and I'm sure they have found really healthy ways to create the sound, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think you just gotta be stronger. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. It does come down to sustainability. It's not worth ruining your entire career for one job that's going to pay you $1,000 or $2,000 for 4 hours.
Or less.
Or if you're not union, then much less, right? So it's not worth it. Do something that you can do, that you can maintain for a marathon for the rest of your life.
But if you're doing a short film with friends and that monster comes in at the end for 20 seconds or just little bits and pieces and you know that you can record them on different days, go to town. Like, I do stuff like that with friends or with, indie creators, but I know that if like I'm auditioning for like Diablo and I know they're gonna need this for 4 or 8 hours, like I can't. But if you're screwing around at home and you can split up the recordings, of course, have fun with it. I think that there's different ways to put our voices out there, and the internet's a great place to put stuff on, TikTok and YouTube and all the different things. So definitely have fun with it because it's a fun voice for you and you like it. So don't overthink it either. There can be different ways to create stuff.
Drink lots of water.
Hey, how do you guys feel about how your jobs will be affected by AI moving forward, or working with AI? Have you ever thought about working with groups like 11 Labs or things like that?
I think AI is a very touchy subject in Hollywood right now, and I think that we have a ways away before they put a soul into AI. It's very robotic still, and you can hear somebody and see something that's AI and know that it's AI. It can trick you for a little bit, like a still image, yes. But in that entire performance, it lacks that sparkle. Like when you were asking that question, man, you were glowing. You had like a sparkle about you. But that was real, right? So that AI does not have that. It's artificial. And until that frosting becomes, better, then I'm not worried about it.
And I have not, I don't know the ins and outs of 11 Labs, you said?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an organization in Japan. They're working with voice actors to help build.
Yeah. No, I think there are companies that want to do ethical AI stuff, and the idea is that they pay you for some sessions as you record, but then you get royalties or residuals every time your voice is used for something. I think that should be the case instead of $1,000 buyout for your voice forever and ever, because that I don't think is ethical. So depending on what the company's doing, obviously I'd want to look into that. I do think AI is here to stay, so we have to learn to work with it rather than just keep saying no. And I don't know, it's a little bit scary. Will audiobooks just be read by AI now? I have no idea, and I hope that we still keep searching for the soul in things rather than just keeping everything ready for market in 5 seconds. And I'd like to think that animations and video games and animated films are still going to want real people because we are giving a great performance. That's a tough question to answer. It's really tricky. But yeah, it's scary for sure.
So as your career moves forward, and even early in your career, did you guys seek out more of characters that were more like you as a person, or was it just you just trying to get the job?
Yeah, it's funny, at the beginning we don't have a lot of choice, you know? I guess we can submit to roles via the websites that we have our profiles up on, but at the beginning you're just like, yeah, I'll do any audition you give me that's legal, because it's so hard to get a job. So sometimes I was auditioning for a nice school teacher, other times I'm auditioning for the evil FBI agent who's stealing money from the government, whatever, you know? So like, you just kind of do them all. I think for video games, I know I can do a real cool, badass agent, so I seek those out, but I also sometimes like to go for maybe the one that's a little bit shy and has like a different outlook than the ones I've been playing because I find it interesting. So it's a mix, but it's hard. We don't, I mean, celebrities get to go, oh, I said no to these roles because I was busy doing this for Marvel, but I just audition for anything that comes across my desk that I believe in. I'm not gonna, there's certain things I won't audition for if I'm morally against some of the stuff. Like some political things I definitely don't want to voice.
I guess in my situation, I'm really busy, so I can only do certain projects.
He is.
I'm just kidding. No, man, I think every role that someone books is meant for that person. You know, because, Sofia Vergara is doing a project. Carolina, you said this yesterday, but Carolina does not do she can do a great Sofia Vergara impersonation, but she's going to do better doing her own thing, right? It's going to be a totally different project with two different actors or actresses, right? I think your world experiences and your knowledge in your life and whatever it is that you do, I'm not going to do it better than you. You're the best at being you. So when you're auditioning, you just do the best you that you can. And your fingerprint and everything you've learned in life is going to be unique. And that's going to bring the soul of the character to life. And people are going to want that.
And sometimes when I audition for voice stuff and I'm doing this thing because I think the character should be here, and, maybe I get a call back and they're like, we actually just want you to do your voice. Like, don't put anything on. I'm like, what? But that's not fun. And they're like, no, we like your voice. And so in the end, you end up kind of just doing a version of yourself. So sometimes for animation, a lot of the time, they kind of just want you to sound like you in Ultraman. You sound like this the whole time, So yeah. But so it can be a mix of things. But usually they kind of just want what you do, what you sound like.
I'll ask the dangerous question. Do you have any roles that you regret taking?
Ultraman. It ruined my career. Now I get stopped on the street and people think I carry a baby kaiju, or it's really annoying.
You know what? I've been pretty blessed. Every role I've taken, I've been fortunate enough to really love. So there's not been a role. You know what? Actually, I did book one job, and I was doing the job, and as I was doing it, I called my manager and I was like, I'm not doing this. I don't agree with any of this. It goes against every political standing that I have. It goes against my morals. I'm out, and I walked off set. And everybody was like, what just happened? So there was one job I regretted taking.
And that's why Hollywood thinks he's a diva.
Yeah. I punch Hollywood in the mouth. No, I'm kidding. But it was one of those things where I didn't get all the information, and they kept it mysterious until I showed up, and then that's when they're like, okay, do it, quick, and they tricked me, right? So that was one of the jobs I regretted. Knowing going in that I didn't know everything, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I don't regret any job, but I was on set for this horror film, and oh my gosh, we were shooting up in upstate New York, and it was freezing, and it was 2 a.m, and we don't have heaters, and we're still shooting, and I'm like, why the heck did I say yes to this thing? Like, it was so poorly produced, and I was really annoyed, but then, the cast members became really close, and after that I ended up doing a film with my buddy who was an actor in the film. So I feel like even when you do a project that you don't love or doesn't end up being good, there's always a golden nugget, and either it's like the sound guy or the director of photography or the other actor, and you make friends, and then they end up helping you get another job. So I believe that every job, even if it's tiny, even if it pays nothing, is teaching you something that moves you forward in another capacity. So I don't regret that horror film because then I got to do the Long Island Girl that's all dumb and stuff. And I wouldn't have gotten that if I hadn't been on that short film. So I know that it's all connected, you know?
All right, oop, wait, we're back there.
Hello, Will. Hi, Will. Hi, buddy.
You know him?
It's my buddy, Will.
Hey, buddy.
In your opinion, what is a good job to start with, like your first job?
First job.
You know what? Do something safe. Something safe, because you're 6 right now? You're 7? Yeah. Just do a job that's safe. And also, do something that's going to help you make good money. And
Most first jobs don't make money, guys. That's the truth. I did so many short films in New York City that didn't pay a cent, but I'm doing it so that I can have footage of myself so I can put it in a reel. So a lot of jobs, I think the first job is going to be the first one you get, you never know. But be safe, that's the most important thing.
yeah. Also, what was the first job you worked on? What was the first job you worked on? So I think the first job you should do is pick and save. That's the right
Heck
answer.
yeah, woo!
No, I'm kidding, thanks. This is my little buddy, so him and Ben. They're little.
Hi, little buddy.
I saw a question over here. Did you want to keep going? Do we have time?
One more question? Okay.
While he's running. Let's all give a round of applause to Jason for putting this together. And Jason in the back for doing visual as well. Thank you guys very much.
So I was curious, every now and again you see a voice actor transition from a character they portrayed in animation to one that they now portray on the live action scene. Is there a character that you really enjoyed that you would like to carry over from one to the other?
Oh my gosh, Sombra would be so rad. Yes. I would love it. Or Rays, but I guess I'm more connected ethnically to Sombra, so I think that would make sense. And I got to do Ultraman, so I felt like, if we do live action, that would be, amazing.
There are some amazing Ultraman characters that are female as well. So she would kick butt. She would do really good.
You would be a really great Ultraman.
And I want to do a superhero
live action.
role. So I've done Nightwing, I've done Ultraman, I've done Star Wars.
But for Ultraman, I think you need to get bigger biceps, so he's got to pump some more iron.
You know what? There's a lot of post-production help I can use.
Yeah. CGI stuff.
Anything superhero I really love, but also I think just give me a script that's got a great story, and we'll make a great project. You and me. Let's do it.
You and me, baby.
I personally would love the live action Kazuda Ziono.
Oh man, Kazuda Ziono?
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars, dude, that was so cool.
And I mean, they've taken characters out of the animation and put them into live action, so it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Forrest Whitaker, who else? Jet Li? Yeah, Jet Li, right? Didn't he play that blind guy in Rebels? Or no, it was Rebels, not Clone Wars. Right. So yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, it's not unheard of, obviously, but live actions would be great. To see anything Carolina that she's done voiceover from Red Dead Redemption. Could you imagine a Red Dead Redemption 2 live action? That'd be amazing, dude. She's done that.
Froyo
Bogo.
It's a new Disney show. I don't play a hamster, but my character owns a hamster. He's always getting lost. His name is Hector. Check it out.
All right, well, thank you very
Thank you
much
guys.
for being here. You guys will be upstairs.
We'll be on the third floor.
Third floor, signing right outside the vendor hall. If you guys want to come say hi, take photos and pictures and photos and
Pictures and photos and selfies and pictures and photos.
Pictures.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Thank you. One more big round of applause.
And that's the end of this podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, hearing from voice actors Christopher Sean and Carolina Ravassa. They were a blast having them with the AFMAO channel previous to this panel. And Christopher Sean is always fun to have at the Midwest Gaming Classic. He's been there for several years in a row, and he just loves coming back to the show. And we hope to see Carolina Ravassa again in the future. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and game on.